Instead of waiting to get these perfect conditions, what if we could create them? When I first started photography, I spent a lot of time chasing conditions. Beautiful light, beautiful atmosphere, the kind of mornings that make photographers jump out of bed. And I still love those moments, but eventually I realized I wasn't really in control. I was simply waiting for nature to decide what my photograph would look like. But it wasn't until much later that I realized I wasn't just learning to photograph nature. I remember, when I was doing a little bit more landscape photography, and every landscape photographer, I think, can relate to that. You know the feeling when you wake up in the morning, look at the window, and see the beautiful lighting, beautiful atmosphere, and you kind of get nervous because these conditions don't last. But for macro photography, you can easily put something in front of your subject, to block the sunlight. You have no excuses not to go and shoot, especially when you're using artificial lighting to shape your subject. The first thing I almost always do is underexpose the scene by about 2 to 3 stops. That gives me room to build a photograph instead of simply recording what's already there. From there, I add one light at a time, slowly shaping the image. Every decision has a purpose. Sometimes I spend several minutes moving the light just a few inches, not because I'm looking for more light, because I'm looking for the right light. Even this dead leaf isn't there by accident. It helps close the composition and naturally keeps your attention on the mushroom. When you take a lot of time to set up a shot like this one, don't be afraid to play around with the lighting. After all, this is without the first light, which is responsible to highlight a little bit of the left side of the subject, and this is with this light. Being able to control every light from my phone is incredibly convenient because it let me experiment without losing my train of thought. But the more I use artificial lighting, the more I realize that it's not really about the light at all. It's about giving yourself the freedom to experiment. And every time you experiment, you just learn a little bit more about light. If you go out and shoot with natural lighting only, you find your subject, you make a composition, and you take a photo. That's one lighting option. When you go out and play around with artificial lighting, you can literally make 20 different images within 10 minutes and learn 20 different ways to lit a subject. So I think in terms of learning potential, using artificial lighting can speed up the way you learn to see the light. So that's exactly what I'm going to do with this one. But first, I'm going to put my bag in the back right here because the sun is coming out. And again, it's macro photography, so the lighting doesn't need to be perfect. We just need to play around and create it the way we want. Sometimes it takes an hour to set up a shot, and for this one, it only took 5 minutes, so I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm going to do the same thing as the previous shot. I'm going to show you in real time the effect of each and every light. And after that, I'm going to be playing around a little bit with the light, see if I can reveal a little bit more texture or make something a little bit more interesting, but I'm pretty pleased with this one. All right, so I started by placing one light behind the subject coming from the left, to highlight the subject a little bit and create a halo on the stem and also in the front. I'll show you right here, letting the moss right there. After that, I wanted the cap of the mushroom to have a little bit of reflection on it. Right now, the highlight is blown. And this one, I'm going to put it probably 2 to 3% just to give a sense of texture on the cap of the mushroom. After that, I wanted to lit the mushroom from the other side. Again, this is very subtle, but it makes a whole lot of difference. I'm going to move this one, I think, a little bit more towards the mushroom. Maybe something just like that. So for this one, I lifted the moss a little bit and slide a flexible light underneath the moss. This one I'm going to go probably at 100%. You see how much interest it makes? The light is literally coming from behind the subject, so it draws the attention into the frame instead of outward. So there's a couple other reasons why I think every macro photographer should at least try artificial lighting. Before we go to the next shot, I'm going to deconstruct this scene and take the shot with natural lighting only. There's no good or wrong, it's just to show you the difference with artificial lighting and natural light. Learning to see light is probably the biggest reason why I keep bringing these little lights in the forest. Because once you start seeing light differently, you also start using it differently. You stop trying to light the whole scene and you start deciding what really deserves to be seen. Another thing I like about using artificial lighting is being able to highlight a particular part of your subject and even remove something that you don't like. In this case, the shot is pretty boring right now. I mean, there's no light anywhere. The background, or should I say the forest floor, is really cluttered. So I'm gonna try to put some light on the mushroom and see if we can make the background disappear. All right, so here I'll start by inversing the center column of my tripod because I want to get really low on the ground, and that way I'm going to get my camera really nice and steady. I could have probably put the camera on the forest floor, but since there's a lot of dead leaf and the forest floor is pretty soft, so I don't want, my camera to move during the exposure, so that's why I prefer putting it on my tripod. The composition is pretty straightforward here, and I'm going to start by putting a light panel from the left side just to give a direction to the light. And I chose a light panel here because I wanted the light source to be a little bit bigger in order to cast softer shadows on the right side. So now I'm going to put another light on the other side just to see if I can bring a little bit of texture on the stem from the other side and help the subject separate a little bit from the background. Right now, the stem of the mushroom, I'm going to grab a stick. The stem of the mushroom is lit all the way to the bottom. And just lifting the light a little bit will create a completely different mood. Look at that. Something just like that, I think, will be the way I want to put this light, because just like that, I think it's going to bring the attention down the ground, and I want the attention to move up the frame where, the cap of the mushroom is. As you can see, I settled with this little piece of moss right here that I put on top of another flexible light that I put pointing towards the stem of the mushroom, but it's hidden right behind the mushroom. I'm gonna put this one to lit the top of the mushroom, maybe something just like that, and yeah, you see right away that the highlights are blown. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna dial in the intensity with the app and make sure I'm just revealing just a little bit of texture, but without blowing the highlight. Maybe something along these lines. Finally, what I'm going to do to solve this foreground problem is not messing around and try to fill it with something else. I'm simply going to block a little bit of light coming from this light panel. You see the difference? And I think it's going to do the trick. One of the biggest things artificial lighting has taught me is that there isn't one perfect way to light a subject. Every photograph is different, every composition is different, and every lighting setup teaches you something new. That's why I still get excited every time I find a new subject, because I know it's going to challenge me in a different way. All right, so we're still working in the shade just like the previous shot, but this subject is really interesting and it's going to be quite challenging, I think, because there's one mushroom in the front, one mushroom further back, and the problem, I think, will be not to cast awkward shadows everywhere. So I'm going to lit this thing one light at a time and see what I can do. One of the things I love most about building a photograph like this is that there's rarely one big change that suddenly makes everything work. It's usually a series of small decisions. A bigger light for softer shadows, a little more output for brighter highlights, moving a light just a few inches, or making a small adjustment to the composition. On their own, none of those changes seems all that important, but together, they slowly transform the photograph into something much more intentional. And that's why I enjoy spending so much time in the forest. It reminds me to slow down, to observe a little longer, to become part of the scene instead of simply passing through it. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons artificial lighting has taught me. Photography doesn't always have to be about finding the perfect scene. Sometimes it's about slowly turning your vision into a photograph. All right, so placing this little piece of moss in the background here, I think really did the trick, because before that the shot was too flat, I think, and it gave a little bit more depth to the shot. I'm gonna take this one because the sun is peeking through the leaves over there and I don't want everything to spill on my shot. So I'm gonna focus bracket this image. I'm gonna take about 80 or 90 shots. I wanna make sure I cover the whole subject, and then I'm gonna be able to choose in post-processing which frame I wanna keep. For a long time, I thought that better macro photography was all about finding better subject. After that, I thought it was about finding better conditions. Although these things matter, what I realized is we have a lot more control than we think. The funny thing is, I thought I was taking photos of flowers, mushroom like this one, even leaves, but what I was really taking photos of was light. And once you start to see light differently, you start seeing your photography differently. So the next time you go out to shoot macro photography, bring a few lights with you, even a butter knife or aluminum foil, to bounce light around, and get involved in the creative process and keep moving.